People seem to actually like it. That was unexpected. How much free time do you guys have? Hello everyone, it's your boy, Skinny P Equinox again. Thanks for watching the last guide. For those of you that did, I'm very surprised at the popular reception, so yeah, really thank you for that. Anywho, get ready for the worst time of your lives, because this is the guide for Hard Moonlight Fortress. Oh man, I really didn't want to do this one, but I really need the approval of people on the internet to help cope with life.
I'm bored to tears.
Alright, let's get through this quickly because I want my plus 15 before awakening, and I'm like about 5/8 of the way through Peachy's route. But I'm slow as shit when it comes to selling rocks, so fuck my life. Boom! 5,900 gear score to enter. You can use these guidelines if you want to barely enter and be as useful as an umbrella made out of wet paper towels. Footnote: in Chaos Captain Moc, when anyone refers to numbers, think of the raid map as a giant clock. So the shore by the ship is 12, the watchtowers here are 3 and 9, the storage structure is 11, and this tower is 1. Start! For everyone besides a person or pair assigned to deal with 3 and 9 at the start, swim to the center of the mainland and just wait. Moc will adopt French philosophy and run away, sending a wave of skeleton minions to deal with you instead, one of which wields a cannon that can stun you for 3 seconds, denoted by a water ball that leaves orange tiles on the floor. This same mob appears at 3 and 9, but in a trio, with 1 at the bottom, that never comes back in the raid, and 2 at the top of the tower. The person or pair assigned to the starting 3 and 9 will immediately head to 3 first, as seen here, by either using a reliable class dash, or, more preferred in my opinion, an epic ground mount, because the last thing you'd want is to fall into the poison pool at the bottom, which ticks you for, I think, 15% of your HP every second. If this happens at any point, just run to the water steps and immediately use Fairy Dew. This immediately stops the effects of the poison. You can get these extremely useful boys from tree sprites in the Boulder White Mountains. Anywho, for the initial 3 and 9, I personally take out the one at the bottom first, then the duo at the top. Usually one person is assigned to take care of them, but another person would be nice, because, well, they have a decent amount of health, and, well, it gets lonely, you know. Back to the mainland battle. Once that first wave is gone, a second wave will appear alongside a cannon that must be pulled to get Moc down. Typically pull this only when the adds are all dealt with, but you can do it early if you think the team can dish out enough damage in time. He'll come down and you'll be able to dish out some damage to him while evading his moves. Out of all the Chaos Raid bosses to date, Moc has the most predictable telegraphs, so that takes a bit of the depression away. Study these following movements as they will be found throughout the entire raid.
Have a taste of my cannon!
Be careful in particular of that blunderbuss in his hook. He can fire that anywhere he damn well pleases, because yes. It can be point blank, it can be undetected in the water, it can be at the entire watchtower, it can even curve as hard as the curve from your crush. There's also the completely random homing ball. To the squishy, death. To the bulky and lucky, the stun that can lead to a bad time. 90% HP, he goes back to the comfort of the SS Puss. Repeat the process, except this time, the watchtower adds are now at 9, an additional pair spawn at 1, which is almost undisputedly assigned to a wizard, due to their flame tornado possessing enough verticality and damage to deal with them. Fucking broken ass class. 402, I guess. I cannot stress how important it is to have all the gunnery crewmen dead before this following AoE. If even a single one lives, they will no doubt fire at someone within the group and stun everyone, most likely before the following event. Once he comes back down, everyone converges to his right and prepares for Moc's AoE. But jeez, even the game tells you to get ready. This is the point where true saints come in, the knight and the priest.
Hello!
As soon as Moc charges for his AoE, a 2-second buff will appear over his health bar, indicating he is invulnerable during this time. Once it finishes, the knight will deploy Bulwark to shield the team, and typically after Moc releases the AoE, the priest deploys their holy symbol for extra damage, though honestly the timing for this is debatable. Because a few seconds after the AoE, Moc will aim his power cannon towards one person, typically one inside the group, and thus makes the area within holy symbol about as safe as Detroit. Evade the cannon, and the fight will resume with adds only spawning at 1 for now. Okay, going back to my second footnote, in this clip, the process got scuffed because no one had dealt with the 1 o'clock adds prior to pulling the cannon. Thus, some people, including the priest, got stunned. but thankfully the knight foresaw this and managed to escape before the ad stun. And even though I have characters off, I'm willing to bet, judging from movement, that they used Defender of the Faith to teleport to the nearest player and shield whoever was within. It worked for some people, but to those that were still stunned by Moc's AoE, the knight evaded the ad stun and went to use Bulwark on the crowd stuck inside the cone. A heroic feat. Hashtag be more like Cardi. Wait, no, I am not endorsing the practice of drugging people. Anywho, take out the ads, do some damage until 75%, and then one of the most painful phases for CMOC novices and veterans begins. Spinner phase.
Go! Give it a spin! Wrong way!
In essence, only 2 people should be separated from the group, the knight and whoever is assigned to 3 and 9, no pair required this time. Everyone else,
For the love of God and all that is holy!
stay at 12 o'clock. Moc will come to you. Think, he's a melee type fighter mainly, so he's forced to approach you. Anyways, in this phase, 2 special ads appear. Vikings. They will adopt Death Spin Berserker philosophy and spin around for days. They have a dummy amount of health, so the only way to kill them is by baiting them to the spikes by the water at the start. This is what the knight will do, though sometimes the priest will be assigned to this role instead. I will say this once and only once. To the people at 12 o'clock, if you see that you are being targeted by the spinners, only then do you have permission to go down to the spikes. The last thing that should happen is that the spinners get led to everyone up top and everything goes to shit faster than the Cuban Revolution. To lead the spinners, go down to where the spikes are and swim right next to the spike area, letting the spinners get really close to you so that they don't get stuck just before the spikes. As for 3 and 9, whoever's in charge, please listen to me. Actually, everyone, please listen to me right now. Only the person dealing with 3 and 9 will deal with 3 and 9. But Equinox, the ads are still shooting stuns at us. They're not doing their job. Oh yes, they are, drill bit. Don't you dare touch 3 and 9. Unfortunately, if the ads are killed during a spinner phase prior to Moc's health being left around 55%, on the next spinner phase, the ads will respawn with full health. Do not forget how much health they have. That is why to the person in charge of 3 and 9, do not kill them prematurely. Wither their health down to a point where you know you'll be able to kill them in time before the 55% mark. That way, once a spinner phase appears that is a bit before that mark, you can go and kill the ads on 3 and 9 before returning to the mainland. Now, here's the thing. This whole tomfoolery is dependent on your party's rate of damage. If the rate of damage is not fast enough when you kill the ads, Moc may spawn another spinner wave, this one being the final. And guess what? The ads are back, full health. This can happen more often than not, and it blows. But what you're gonna have to do is take care of both towers ASAP, even at the cost of being stunned by Moc's second AoE. Please take one for the team, it isn't worth the ad stunning everybody. After the second AoE, 1 o'clock will spawn again and Moc will fire his cannon as usual. After the cannon shot, Moc will start walking to either 3 or 9 and then jump to that respective platform. Por el amor de Dios. Follow him and get his aggro within, I'd say, 3 seconds, because if absolutely no one does, he will heal for 20 million health points. Do not let this happen, because in a tight group, it can determine whether a run is a clear or a it was only practice, don't worry. Do some damage, and eventually he'll walk towards the mainland, jumping in the same way before. If you're a bit iffy about jumping across the poison, note that you can just go up the tower and get to the mainland from there. Around 40%, Moc will get fucking pissed and buff his attack and defense significantly. Once he does, his attack pattern is as follows. Run slash, slash with forward slash, run slash, and then jump to 11. Once he does, spanking new crossbows spawn at 3, perfect for a knight and a priest to get on and fire at Moc, but he knows better, so he'll aim at 3 o'clock, at which point the dream duo typically just moves away. After the cannon passes by, the knight and priest get on the bows and continuously fire at Moc to remove his rage shield, with everyone else contributing as well, while occasionally evading sudden attacks when he changes targets. Eventually, his shield breaks and he will follow this up with a cannon shot before repeating his rage mode process, this time jumping to 1 and aiming towards 9. The notable difference here is that due to the fact that the crossbows spawn while within the boxes, it is safe to use the crossbows during this phase because the cannon will not hit the knight or the priest. It will blow away the boxes. The process repeats, and once your party gets them down to 20%, the real fuckery begins. Ah, shit. Here we go again. At this point, Captain Moc will walk to the center of the mainland and fire at his own ship, releasing a gas containing particles of the Maple Elite throughout the entire map, inflicting a decent amount of emotional and physical damage, so you want to stay above ground level as much as possible. The way you do this is by grabbing a tower of tubes from the now destroyed storage facility to stand on. 1 is enough for the whole group, but 2 is nice for having range and melee on separate tubes for clarity. Note though, the Knight cannot clone themselves, plus they may be dealing with the spinners that also spawn during this poison phase. Anywho, as soon as the facility collapses, 2 things. First, the wizard typically will go grab one of the tubes and put them next to 1 o'clock so that they can get up to the platform later. Second, the priest will go to one of the prepared tubes and engage in one of the most important roles in any Chaos raid to date: barrels. Picking up one of the barrels left behind, the priest will throw these barrels at Moc to knock him down and prevent both his attacks and movements. Once he is knocked down, he will have a debuff denoting so, counting down from 3 seconds. At around 0.1 second, I'm not even joking, that's about a meaty spot to throw the next one and keep him down. Realistically, if you know how to judge timing with distance during this phase, by all means go with your gut.
Breathe deep, me hearties! Ow! There, you louse! There, you louse!
Eventually he'll prepare an AoE like before, but this time when his invincibility phase ends, the priest can stop the attack with a well-timed barrel. If the knight is not dealing with spinners during this phase, please go to the tube with the party, or if there are 2 tubes, the one with the majority of the party, and be on standby to shield in case the priest misses or something else fails. Wizards, it is at this time when Moc preps the AoE that 1 o'clock adds spawn once during this poison phase. Now's your time to shine. Either that or let someone else take the one job you had to do, since anyone can climb those tubes. Shortly following that AoE, Moc will eventually jump to either 3 or 9 immediately, so chase after him as fast as La Chancla Voladora. A good tip to note is that if Moc is knocked down from a barrel but your damage has blocked, sweet galactic Jesus, run to either 3 or 9 because the game has already programmed Moc to be at either position, meaning the timer for his heal has already started, so take a gamble. There is very little room for protection here, so take extreme caution and give Moc plenty of space, hoping that you get lucky enough not to be hit from broken ass hitboxes. He will go back to the mainland and repeat the entire process, save for the 1 o'clock ads. The spinners will still spawn occasionally, and barrels are not autonomous, so the knight and priest will be on their own while it is up to the rest of the party to keep up the damage until Moc is defeated and the worst chaos raid in the game pre-awakening is finally over. Okay, the base guide is now pretty much over, but I think it's time to discuss some of the reasons why I absolutely despise this raid with every fiber of my mortal being. So, during the raid, one of the first things that you may note is the fact that stuns are like potato chips. You can't have just one, am I right? More often than not, the gunnery crewman will stun lock players by firing in the same area non-stop. This typically results in Moc taking advantage of this golden opportunity to fire his blunderbuss and take away one of the precious revives you could have used for poison phase. Funny enough, in theory, if you get stunned by Moc's AoE while these ads are still alive, if they stun you right after Moc's stun, they will override it with their own, giving you enough time to dash away from the cannon shot. Nonetheless, the stuns from these ads are about as bad as getting stunned by a wasp in the tip, so deal with them as per the guide. Another thing is Captain Moc and his hitboxes. Despite being a melee-based boss wielding nothing but a cutlass, Moc's swings are wider than you may expect, which may cost you dearly later on. This is why it is generally a good idea to stay behind him and keep a few feet away, because sometimes you may even get hit if you're too close. The best example of this is when he fires his hook cannon. If you are right behind him, you may still get hit because the range of the cannon is actually a bit wider than the cone shown. That is why you actually see me stand a bit far away when he does that. Not only am I safe, but I stand far enough away so that when he fires it, he recoils perfectly to where I am. Take a look at the distance and you'll get a good idea of what to do. Still on topic of hitboxes, this gets worse during his rage mode, and so much worse during poison phase. During rage, it's as if you had expected. He's just a bit faster and more aggressive, so his hits feel wider, though I honestly doubt that's the case. But without a shadow of a doubt, poison phase really shows why I hate Captain Moc. When Moc jumps to 3 or 9, I pray to RNGs that I don't get hit during those seconds of terror. Since the poison restricts our movement severely, it really puts the team in a precarious position, so Moc capitalizes on this by becoming the most broken boss in the game. His melee attacks will essentially reach anywhere except the rear portion of the highest point of the tower. Anything else, meaning here, here, even here, he can hit. Making matters worse, he can get stuck in a certain spot and it'll look like he'll just swing or jump in place, but in reality, he's swinging in a radius larger than the amount of people selling Balrog runs. It is why I ask everyone to please stay as far away from Moc as physically possible, and you just might survive. Also, what may be the worst thing in the entire raid is the fact that at the time of making this video, Captain Moc is, he's pretty buggy. Even if you can get his aggro in time during poison phase, he can still regenerate his health for no reason. He can even do it right before he jumps back to the mainland, which is definitely after a lot of damage has been done. This has probably cost me so many good runs in the past, and it haunts me in the few dreams I can have whenever I can actually sleep. I'm a struggling STEM major. Anywho, it's no secret that Moc is a buggy chaos raid, so you need to take the right precautions. As I mentioned in my prior guide, you want to take certain lap and tiers on your journey, with some having higher priority than others. For Moc specifically, I recommend initially using shockwave laps a majority of the time, but once poison appears, all priority goes to healing aura. Unless the run is close in terms of both time and damage, do not use shockwaves during this. Healing aura is way too vital for poison. As for rooted strength, I would only use these after both AoEs, as that's around the best time to use them, since you know he stays in place for a good bit. Remember, he's invincible until that buff disappears, so use your Knight and Priest as visual markers to hit that lap and tier and do what you can in those 10 seconds, you tortoise. You can also use him while he attacks the crossbows in rage mode, but he does move around a little bit more in that phase, so it's totally up to you. So, that's Hard Moonlight Fortress. It sucks, many people don't like it, I don't like it, but we gotta do it if we want to get to a certain blue boy.
It's noisy, yes. Your head hurts, no.